I'll just check on and make sure if Mark from Kent LPC has popped up yet. No? Okay. In which case, we are ready for the pastor, Tunji Iyiola, I believe, if that's correctly pronounced. Is Tunji there? Hello, Tunji. Are you there?
You're muted, Tunji.
Ah, that's why. Tunji, can you manage to unmute?
You're muted. Okay, I think you can unmute now.
Okay, can we hear you now?
Hello.
Ah,
yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you.
All right. So,
Thanks, Tunji.
Yeah, so the host had sort of restricted my ability to unmute previously. So thank you for resolving that.
No problem whatsoever. So you're the Chief Operating Officer, otherwise known as the coup, correct?
Yes,
the
correct.
Coup, we're either CEOs or coups or SFOs or whatever it might be, and an associate pastor with the Elevation Church.
Yes, I am.
So I'm assuming the Elevation Church is a Christian movement, yes?
Yes, it is.
Yes. So the question for Tunji is, how can churches support and play a more prominent role in promoting health education and engagement among Black ethnic communities? So let's say again, GEMS, the global ethnic majority.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So thank you for having me. And I want to say
thank you.
Well done to everybody who has spoken before me. Great and insightful conversations we've had so far. Just diving in straight, to the question that I've been asked. So I think the first thing that you understand is that the reach of the church, right, is very broad. And the influence that the churches, church organizations, and communities wield in the life of people who subscribe to them is quite significant, right? And so having a conversation with churches is really, really, really important and significant, right, about promoting health education, right? The first thing I like to say is that it's quite interesting if you were to go back and refer to the Robert Wood Johnson model, right? That says that health behavior, social and economic factors are the biggest things, to speak to if you wanted to influence health outcomes for people. And that is exactly where churches fit in, right? Because from time to time, churches would organize and have conversations around things, that influence people's health behaviors, right? The values that the churches promote, that the Christian faith promotes, speaks to many things, that influence health behavior. And the same thing about social and economic factors. Churches position, especially Black churches, of churches everywhere that I know, position to help people to understand and of course enhance their social and economic factors, things that also then turn out to influence their health, right? Other ways would also then include things like continuous engagement and providing platforms for conversations, right? So remember that here we're combining two things, the influence of faith and the influence of race, right? And so there are conversations that must be had, about the fact that the treatment of certain ailments, the perceptions, of those ailments, are influenced, by the things that people believe, and also, by their races. So providing information that helps them to see the intersection of those influences, right, is very, very significant and important, all right? So the more people are aware, the more they know, the better they are able to behave, and the better they can, of course, enhance their own health, and make the right choices, right? The other way that churches can help, is by helping people, to access information that destigmatize certain health needs, all right? Things around mental health, and of course, other kinds of ailments, So the more we provide information, the more we provide access to resources, the more people are likely to understand, and become better informed and educated, about their health choices and the things, that that influence, their well-being and the outcome, right? And of course, the final thing I like to say, being sensitive to time, is that because faith influences how people perceive their well-being. Yeah, we need to help them to see and to understand the intersection between their faith, their social well-being, and of course their healthcare, right? Some people would sort of struggle in certain instances to go to healthcare practitioners, right? But when you help them to understand and to see, the connection between visiting a healthcare practitioner, to receive care when you have health issues, right? And of course, the influence of your faith on that, also helps them to promote a health education among Black ethnic communities. So there are quite a number of things, that we can speak to and go on and on and on. But just being aware, of time, and the limitation of that, I'm going to stop right now and take any other question that other people will put on the table. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tunji. Thank you. Very very useful. It's always, I think, part of there will be some frustration because we've packed a really tight agenda simply to showcase what can be discussed. And I think part and parcel of it is about provoking thought and making people think about how could we do things differently. So thank you for your contribution. And you're right, church is very broad. The church is extremely broad, and no matter which church, and I say that in inverted commas, no matter which church any of us are from, generally, there are principles of life that are a given for human beings. There are principles in terms of the rights and the wrongs of what it is and how to behave. So I think you're absolutely right. The church is very broad. Are there any particular questions for Tunji that anyone would like to put forward? We've got a comment here which is about faith. There's an intersection between faith, healthcare, and well-being. Absolutely, there is. I couldn't agree more. And certainly, I'll be taking you back to the Dahlgren and Whitehead rainbow, the diagram. And religion is all part and parcel of that. Let's have a look. Churches should try to incorporate health teachings into their Sunday schools and Bible studies. Well, it was a long, long time ago, and I'm not going to tell you how long, but certainly my Sunday school did, and should be able to teach people while they pray that they should get checkups. I think that's I think people have. I think some services have already taken advantage of that, particularly with respect to blood pressure, diabetes, etc. But it's a very, very good point, and that faith and health should be taught as one in churches. So that might some people will agree and some people will disagree, but it's about food for thought, and that's what we're all here for. Talking to church cameo groups is a good way to spread the health message. So I would need to know, and Tunji, may I ask you, do you know what a church cameo group is? Tunji, are you on mute again?
Yeah, so I think it's the also right is limiting my ability to unmute myself. Okay, I'm not sure I know what church cameo groups are, right? But I'd like to speak to the comments and the suggestion about the fact that churches should integrate health information, right, in the teachings and Bible studies, right? I believe very strongly that is correct, and it is one of the things that I see done, in my own church and a significant number of other churches that I am affiliated with, right? In fact, in my church, there is every year we devote 1 month, to a series of teachings around healthcare, right? We talk to people about their health. We talk to them about the intersection of their faith and sound health practices, right? And of course, in certain locations, we even set up things where people can get, some basic health checkups done for them after a service. And I know quite a number of other churches, who do the same thing. In fact, in some countries, we have, in my church, we have a charity, right? A non-governmental organization that for the last 5 years, once a year, we host what is called a healthcare outreach, right? And we provide over a 1 week period, right? We provide upwards of 10,000 treatments to people, including surgeries, right? Including surgeries for things like cataracts, for things like other kinds of issues, medical issues, dental issues. In fact, we've delivered babies before, performed cesarean operations, during that 1 week, and it's in its 5th year right now. So, and I know many other churches, across different countries of the world who do the same thing, just sort of encouraging people, providing access to healthcare, providing information, that help people to be able to live healthier lives, and take care of their own bodies and minds better. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. One of the just an expression that comes to mind, and that is that we need to remember that our bodies are an instrument that we've been gifted with as human beings.
Absolutely.
And we need to care for them.
Absolutely.
We need to care for them, and it's like you don't get yourself a Rolls Royce and not have it serviced.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get a Rolls Royce and not polish it, wash it, etc. And the same applies to our bodies. We inhabit a body, and that's basically that's the home for our soul, really.
Absolutely.
And consequently,
absolutely
we need to look after it. We need to do some housekeeping with it. And I think if you can look at it in that way, it changes. It really shifts your perspective. But that's fabulous to know, and I certainly in the future I'd like to know more about that, Tunji. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Julie, it was Julie who mentioned about church cameo groups. If you don't want to speak, then I can fully understand that. But would you be kind enough to just put in the chat what a church cameo group is? I'm thinking it may well be just a kind of focus group of some description that targets a particular issue.
There's a description, a church cameo group or is a church-based social group that provides a place for people to meet, share fellowship, and build community.
Excellent. So I think that's one thing that you can now put down as a network. That should be a network that you can access.
Network, small groups, and things like that. Different things are what we call them. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tunji.